Hi, I'm Sophie from Beavis Good Food, and today I'm going to show you how to make pulled pork. Pulled pork is a US trend that we Brits absolutely love. There are so many barbecue restaurants nowadays which specialise in pulled pork, but you can also make a great pulled pork at home. So firstly, the best cut of meat for pulled pork is the pork shoulder with the skin off. But if you've got the skin on, that's not a problem because you can take it off and then you can use it for nice crisp crackling. You can use the skin with your pulled pork itself because it would add a nice texture when you're eating the pulled pork. Or you can keep the pork crackling torn into shards in an airtight container, and then you've got your own homemade pork scratchings. Now that I've taken the skin off, I'm just going to loosely tie it with some butcher's string. I'm only doing this because I had to take the skin off the joint, but if you buy a skinless joint you won't have to do it. And don't worry, you don't have to be a butcher or an expert to do this, you just need to loosely tie it so that it holds in the oven. Now that I've loosely tied my pork shoulder joint back together, I'm going to make the marinade. I'm using some oil, some smoked paprika, mustard powder, garlic salt, onion salt, black pepper and some liquid smoke. So this is what I'm using in my marinade, but you can kind of choose and play around with whatever you like. So in order to try and mimic a little bit of that barbecue effect, I'm going to fry my pork shoulder before putting the marinade on, just to get a really nice dark exterior. So to do this, I'm just going to coat my pork in 2 tablespoons of oil left over from the marinade. That looks good to me, so now I can start frying. Now the whole point of this is exactly like steak. You want to get a really nice dark brown exterior. Now that's ready. So the next thing to do is just brush the marinade all over. I'm just going to place my pork on top of the rack, and then I'm going to pour in a cup of water. Next, you just need to cover the roasting tin in a tight layer of tin foil. That's ready, so now all I have to do is pop it in the oven. So that's my pork in. I'm going to cook it at 150 degrees, 130 fan for 5 hours. You can cook the pork shoulder from anywhere between 140 degrees to 160, depending on how much time you have. So now all that's left to do is shred the pork. Don't discard of all these beautiful juices because we're going to use them in the sauce, because this, at the bottom of the pan, is where all the best flavour is. So first I'm just going to remove the string that I tied earlier. And now it's simply a case of using 2 forks to shred the meat. Look how easy that is, absolutely delicious. So whilst I'm just going through the pork, I'm getting rid of any really big discernible bits of fat. Now obviously fat equals flavour, but you don't really want a really fatty piece to eat, so just removing a little bit of the fat is just nicer. So there you go, all the meat's really nicely and pulled now, so now we're just going to make up the barbecue sauce. So as I said earlier, we're just going to save some of these juices because they're really delicious. That's a good amount, so I'm just going to add that to my barbecue sauce. That's all mixed, and now for the fun part. Coating the pulled pork in the delicious sauce. You could do this in a bowl, but really, just get stuck in. And that's it really. It looks absolutely delicious, coated in this lovely sauce, and you can serve it any way you like. So I'm just going to show you 3 really quick ways how you can use the pulled pork meat. So the first and the most classic is in a burger. I'm just going to grab a handful of the pulled pork, top it with a bit of nice tangy coleslaw, and a few gherkins just for some sharpness. And there you have a really good pulled pork burger. Now the second way is with a tortilla. So I'm just going to spread some sour cream on the bottom, and then on top of the sour cream, again, a nice line of pulled pork, and then a bit of crunchy baby gem lettuce. Finally, I've got some taco shells. I'm just going to fill them with some pulled pork. And then on top of that, I'm just going to put some nice avocado, a bit of chilli and some red onion. If you want to be extra filthy here, I'd definitely add some cheese. Now that's all that's needed is a bit of extra barbecue sauce. And there you have it, BBC Good Foods pulled pork.